Welcome Brian Duffy to the desk. Good to see you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
So
glad to be here.
We're here to talk about what you have created this week.
Yes. The college students that have graduated, and not just this last year, but in a couple of previous years,
Right.
they've been ranked in the top 10 in some categories. And why don't we take a look at what categories they are? Iowa's college graduates are ranked in the top 10 nationally in the following categories. Now that's something to cheer about. Or not.
Wow.
Because you can never get out from under it. It takes forever.
No.
It's a problem.
Well, that's the thing, is that it affects the economy in so many different ways. You take a look at the numbers on it, and college costs have gone up 70% from between 2002 and 2012.
Wow.
And the number of kids going to college now are 11% higher. You throw in there the fact that median incomes have either stagnated or else, in some cases, most cases, I say, gone down. So you've got all of those numbers working for you, and then the state funding is 10% lower than it was in 2005. And if you went back farther, I mean, it's even a more. It's a
What does it cost
picture
nowadays for a student to go to, say, a state university?
Well, I don't know what the by semester. I'm not sure. I think it's 6,000 some. But most of them have to take out loans, virtually immediately.
No, that's just for the class itself.
Well, I think it's also it's tuition and also room and board.
Okay.
So
that's still a hefty amount.
It's a hefty amount, and what happens is when they graduate, they'll either move back home again, which they believe that squatters' rights at some point when the parents dies, they've got the house. My guess, but. They're not being able to buy a house on their own or a car, and it really slows down the economy. You consider people coming out with that kind of debt. What are they going to be able to do? So, and jobs aren't as easy to get as they used to be, nor is the pay as high as it was, even starting pay. So. It's an ugly situation out there.
It says here, if you look at tuition, housing, books, personal expenses, which that can vary greatly depending on how many bars you go to a week, and transportation, you're looking at around 20 grand a year.
$20,000
a year, and that's it. That's Iowa. That's a state school.
Right.
Yeah, and we haven't tapped into the the nonprofit and private schools, and some of the debt in there is even higher. So when all of that is added in, this is what the averages are. In some cases, there are kids that probably shouldn't go to school, shouldn't go to college. They might make 1 year, 2 years, whatever. But what's the alternatives? And we don't have those alternatives. As easily as easy to find as we used to. So it's a pretty difficult situation out there. You have more kids wanting to go to school. And we should have that because an educated society is going to be, in the future, hopefully, will be one that'll continue to pick up or to meet what we've lost in this last X amount of years since about 2008 and even before that.
Right. I mean, tech schools are a good alternative.
Excellent, yeah.
We had an employment segment on this show where people, for instance, were screaming for people that knew how to weld.
Exactly.
You can write your own ticket.
Good money there too.
Oh, exactly. But I don't see that being pushed very much in a lot of places.
No.
And that's an area where it used to be. There used to be tech high schools around. Where I grew up, there were tech high schools in every city that I'd grown up in. But you don't see that much anymore. You might see some classes in high school, but I think a lot of those industrial arts classes have been cut too.
So people have suggested, some people, that we have government pay for undergraduate education and invest in that, because a lot of European countries do.
Right.
You know, the counter argument is, well, where's the money going to come from? But I think if you look at it as an investment, maybe it's worth exploring. You know, that you don't have these kids coming out of college with all this debt and.
Well,
Put the money back in the economy.
It does put money back in the economy, and that's what everybody forgets. You know, it's real easy to scream socialism, but it's we do have a society where everybody benefits. Everybody should benefit, and then it benefits society itself. And having, you know, as far as where the costs are going to come from, well, you know, those are things that you pay for the future, and that. The same thing with infrastructure. You know, we fall behind on all of this stuff because we don't believe in taxes all of a sudden, and you know, that's what's built, you know, our economy. That's what's built the infrastructure, and that's what's built that's what builds an educated class. So we need to have that.
And if not, you're playing catch up.
Then you're playing catch up, or else you're out of the ball game, because all of these other countries that are subsidizing education and subsidizing training and technology, they're way ahead of us then. And so where does that leave us as a service society?
No, good point.
Yeah, very good point. Well done, man.
Thank you.
Good job. It is 9:39. We'll be right back. You're watching Great Day Live on KCWI.